And so I want to welcome all of you to the Women's Way tonight. And we're going to be talking about doing info products online. Kathy's going to be doing most of the instruction and I'll comment a little bit. We kind of trade off month to month. So, and sometimes we team teach, depends on what we want to do. So we really wanted to get information out in the world to people and share with them some ideas to get their businesses going, help them think a little bit differently, maybe a little bit out of the box. And we've been doing the Women's Way now for like 2.5 years almost, which has been really, really awesome. And so I want to welcome you all here tonight. On the bottom, you should be able to, if you're on a computer, you should be able to see a chat screen. If you're on a phone, at the bottom, there should also be a way to find chat. So you can type in questions, I'll watch them, interject, or you can kind of wave if you have something. And Kathy, do you want to just run through things tonight and ask for questions when it's a good time to stop?
Probably. I have a lot of slides, and of course, it's only a little bit of what
Of what's there, exactly.
what we could do. Yeah, it's a lot, but
Okay.
hopefully you'll get so many good ideas.
Yeah.
And I am recording this, and you will be able to watch it on YouTube afterwards if you'd like. So that'll be a big help too.
And Amy really wanted to be on tonight and listen, but she's got all the kids tonight with no assistance. So
Wow.
she's asked for the recording as well.
Okay.
So, okay.
Oh.
Well, let's just get focused here a minute. We usually start with a bit of a centering exercise just to bring everybody in, let go of everything that is kind of been part of your day or what's coming up, and just spend just a minute just taking a couple deep breaths. Now, I told Kathy I'd keep this really short. Usually, sometimes we'll do a lot longer, but really notice where you are. Let's get ourselves grounded into the space that we're in. So take a look up to your left. These are called locationals. So kind of notice something up to the left of you. And then look down and notice something that's down maybe near the floor or something. Take a look to your right. Just notice something that's there. Realize that you're sitting in a chair, or maybe you're standing, but really take in everything that's around you. Getting yourself very present in the space that you're in right now. And then bring your awareness to the screen, seeing the wonderful beings that are all here. If you've got video and you can see everybody. And know that we're creating a little energy pod here to take in and share information about creating some really cool info products. And the energies that you add to this take us into everything that you need to hear, or maybe something that someone else needs to hear. So let's just keep our awareness here, really focus in. And I just want to welcome everybody. And we appreciate you being with us for the next hour and a half or so, hour and 20 minutes that we're here. And I'm just going to let Kathy take over from here.
Okay. Well, thank you, everybody. I know there's other people coming because they had contacted me, but we'll just welcome them as they come. Okay, so first of all, I wanted to, I'm very passionate about making info products. I've been making them, I figured out it's probably 30 years that I've been doing this, because I worked on projects before I owned my own business for IBM and other companies, large companies doing online learning, which I consider all info products. So, and this is the first slide picture just to show you some ideas. See, this is a 3-ring binder. That's a CD folder. Oh, who's making noise? Here we go. I just closed Jeff. These are books. This is a mind map, if anyone knows what a mind map is, but that can be an info product, and I can explain that. And checklists. And for people like me, I love checklists when I can get that as an info product, because then I don't have to read all of that. I just go straight to the checklist and start using it. So an info product in title, of course, delivers information, but it can be paid or free. It's live or recorded. It's an ebook, video, podcast, webinar, audio, transcript, or a combination of any of them. And you can see this is just an example of someone else's online product where they've got these combinations. And of course, the graphics are very important to explain your information to somebody. There is a comment here. Trina, will you get that, or should I?
Sure. Barry's saying that he's running out of battery, his loss.
Okay, he can watch the recording, I guess. I'm sorry to hear that.
I can get it to him if he misses it.
Okay. Okay, so why should you care about this, and why am I so excited about it? Is I think every business needs an info product. I feel like whether it's a freebie on your website, which could be, again, any one of those items, it can be an audio, it can be a video, it can be a downloadable PDF, it can be transcript of a conversation. In order to trade somebody's email, they need to get something in return. So that's one way. But the most important reason why you need info products is for passive income for your company. Because once you set up a funnel with your freebie and you start collecting email lists and creating an email list, you all of a sudden have a way to sell every single one of your services, and especially your online services. And Eileen can tell you about that. She just is working on that right now, right? It works great, right? Okay. So anyway, passive income is the name of the game. Also, it's one way for you. You know how when you're in a booth at a trade show and people come by and you say the same thing over and over and over again? Well, a lot of times you can use an info product almost like a prerequisite before you take a class that allows you to say, go read this or watch this video before we have our meeting. So people have the terminology, and they have all the information to start. They have a basis, a platform to work with you in. So I can't say how important this is. Passive income, as long as someone speaks your language anywhere in the world, you can be selling products and wake up to PayPal notice on your phone or on your computer and make money while you sleep. So, and that's the key. If you have a big message like Malcolm does and Elsie does, I mean, you want as many people as possible to be able to hear that message. And you don't have to say it every day, a million times a day. You say it once, record it, and you got it. So I think it's very important. The other part about this is one of the best ways to share your message, if you have a big message to share, is to have affiliates. And if you're familiar with that whole system, affiliates are other people that will share your product or service out to the world for compensation. And so it can be automated by your shopping cart, or it can be just a gentleman's handshake. Like right now, if somebody brings me somebody, I automatically give them 10% for the lead. So, but that affiliate relationship, a lot of times they need these info products because they can't sell and represent you. Plus, if you're a teacher and you feel really drawn to teach and share, a lot of students have to hear their teacher first to see if they can learn from them. Some people's voices put you to sleep. Some people's writing isn't coherent, just doesn't work with your brain pattern. Some people's thought processes aren't your thought processes. So when you have these info products or these free downloads, they get a taster. So this is an example. If you have a freebie guide on how to start podcasting and you're an affiliate, you can have an affiliate program with Amazon. And in your freebie guide on how to start podcasting, you can have live links that take them to Amazon where you will get compensated if they purchase that equipment. And has anybody heard of ClickBank? Has anybody heard of that? Yes, Eileen has. Have you, Malcolm? Have you else? ClickBank. No, okay. So ClickBank is one of these sites where people post their info products and you can go in and sign up as a reseller and you make a commission. So there's lots of ways when you make this little info product freebie guide on how to start podcasting. It doesn't have to be equipment. It could go to a course on ClickBank of how to do a podcast. And it's a win-win. You're helping your customer as well as making some extra money. And this is the sign you've been waiting for and looking for, because your imagination can go wild. Every hobby you have, if you're a gardener, if you're a musician, so it could be instruments, it could be anything, music, it can be anything you want. Info products, and certainly the easy ones, can be your whole start of your funnel to your more expensive product. So the other thing you should know about benefits, I mentioned affiliates, so you can have your own army of affiliates. You can build your own buyers list. You can launch your own business empire, which of course, I love that idea. And what this is where you can have your own online university. And this is where the passive income can really help you. Where, for instance, Lisa Tully knows tons about science and how to work with making sure that especially EMF devices work. And she could have her own online programs in a site in a university. And that could be, what were you at, Tully Town? You could have Tully Online Town or something for your business empire. And that way people can reach you and use your information without paying a high, expensive one-on-one consulting fee. They can get at least the basics. The other thing is you get to keep all the profits you make. Now, if you have your own Amazon account, for those of you that are authors, which quite a few of the people here are, Amazon is a fantastic site for selling your books, but they do take a big commission. But for instance, if you sold your book, like Eileen's book and Elsie's book, if they sold their book on their site, they could say autographed copy, $25 versus going to Amazon, and you get to keep it all. So that's one thing about these info products. When you make your own, you get to keep all the money. Now, of course, PayPal takes their fee, or your processing takes a fee, but that's important. The middle thing about being seen as an authority. this is really a big part of this presentation for you to understand what you take for granted about how you operate in the world and what your experience has taught you is really important for other people to know about. And for you to be an authority, you need a book, in my opinion, and you need these info products, because otherwise the audience now has taken it for granted that if you don't have that, you aren't an authority. It's like more important to be an author than a PhD, and it's just as important to have an online product, an info product, as it is to have a book. So these are things that when you look at all the people online that are the big name movers and shakers, all of them have info products. And again, we're going to go over some easier ways to make them so it's not such a scary thought. And then the other part of this is that info products keep all the leads you generate. When you do affiliate sales with your info products, you may not know the email address. You may not be able to build your email list, and the money's in the list. So even if you write a book, you want to have some freebie that's like an info product on your site, that they go from the book to your site. This is a great example. This lady, I met her at the IONS conference, and inside her book, the very first page, that's her info products on her website. So you have to go to her website, jump on her site, and sign in. So every book from now on, every course from now on, she's got an educated market that likes her stuff. So you don't have to resell each time you do something. So how do you decide on your info product? That's one of the biggest questions I get is, well, what do I do? I know I want passive income. I know I want to help my people. So first we have to see, where do you get your ideas? Well, if you have a blog, you should go to your most popular blog posts. Or if you have competitors that you know of, go to their most popular blog posts. Because when you see that there's people needing and having questions, you can see if you have the answer for them, how to package that up. Okay. You can also go to Facebook groups and see what topics are brought up frequently and what has a ton of comments on it. You can see the engagement. You can see, so this is where someone asks a question and all these people hop in trying to help them. There's a lot of interest on it. One of an example of this is I'm in a lot of internet marketing programs and Facebook groups, and somebody put, what's your best email provider? And I never even heard of half of these. But that's an ebook. How do you select the best email provider? And then or a check sheet, here's all the choices of all the different email providers. It's that simple, you guys. So just think about it. Just let your mind get creative with it. The other thing is Pinterest. Pinterest is designed, and I'm just starting to use it this past year. I started, so I don't have a huge following or anything on it, but Pinterest was designed as a huge database. It's even better to call than Facebook is, and Twitter. So Pinterest, which is mostly images, you can see, for instance, I did a summit not too long ago that was called the Co-Creative Awakening Summit, and it was targeted to, it is targeted, I'll be doing another one, it is targeted to conscious parents and grandparents. And there was a huge following on Pinterest of conscious parents and grandparents. Huge. I mean, more than on Amazon. So you have to understand there's lots of ways to go, oh, I think I got a hot target here. The other thing would be podcasts. Podcasts are very popular for people that don't have time to read, and they do that instead of blog posts a lot. So you can look and scan podcasts on iTunes or other podcast platforms. Amazon bestsellers. Now, almost every time I work with somebody and we're doing their branding or we're looking at an info product, I go to Amazon and I put in their subject and I see how many books are there and how well they do. And you can see how many years they've been and how many reviews they have. And it isn't just about selling, it's about activity around it. Then the other thing is magazines. People used to say some of the best advertising headlines and best advertising is in Oprah's magazine, the O Magazine. And so when you go there, you'll see they are not wasting any time, energy, or money on things that don't sell. They have got it dialed in. So when you go to these, you can see the angle you could use to introduce it, or another subject, or a way to look at your subject that you hadn't thought of that would help your customer. Because this is all about being service. This isn't about tricking them. This is about creating a loyal following that sees whatever you're offering as a great opportunity for them to make their life better. So questions you want to ask yourself about when you're doing this process is, what are people always asking me about? What does my tribe need help with? What does my group need help with? Do I want to talk about this topic? If you don't like it, don't go that way. Even if there's tons of it, don't just let it go. Let someone else do it, because there's plenty out there. What I tell my customers a lot of times, and maybe some of you have heard me say this, but one of the easiest ways to start getting content out is to look at what are the 10 things people should know about whatever this subject is. Or what are the 10 things people should ask about it and they aren't. So because like for instance, Eileen, all this information about architecture, and people come and might have a meeting with you and you realize, oh, they have no clue how to work with an architect. They think we're interior designers plus, right? So you could easily write, what should you ask to get the right architect, or what you should know about this whole process. And that way you're the authority in it. You're giving them the information, and you're helping. It's a real huge service. One of the best ways to test your topic is you don't want to create a 6-month project and find out nobody wants it. Not that anyone will ever know, because you can do that and no one will buy it, and you'll just have to go find something else. But you don't want to do that. So what you can do is you can create a freebie at first. There's people, so you can join an affiliate program that offers something similar. A lot of people do this, and then they get their feet wet in the subject, and they can build an email list. So I'm a new grandmother. So let's say there's a product on ClickBank that's about, about grandparenting, being a new grandparent. And I start building a list, or I make a freebie, and then I join the affiliate program to sell that How to Be a New Grandmother product. And then I start building the list to find out what they want. And then I add to it rather than try to copycat. So the other thing is you can start with a low ticket item. You can start from anywhere from 17's the least I would ever do, but most internet marketing prices end with a 7. So it'd be 27, 37, 47, 67. I've never seen 57, 67, and then 97, and then 147. So you jump it, and everything's always ended in a 7 online. I don't know why, but that's what everyone does. Then the other thing is to create a pre-sale on your course. There's a incredible, I love this lady, her name's Debbie Drum, and she lives back east. I got to meet her one time out here. She was speaking at an event in Denver, and I drove down to meet her. And she actually pre-sells her course and then learns what she's teaching and then teaches it right away while it's still fresh in her mind. Now that's gutsy. I mean, that's like taking a class in the afternoon and teaching it that night. I don't have the guts to do that, but she does it all day long and does great. And people love her method, her style. So she tells it like it is, and she just makes everything simple. So it's in little sound bites. And so she has a huge following. And that's her whole thing. It's like, learn while you earn. That's what she calls it. So then the other thing is you want to keep trying. So if at first you don't succeed, if that $17 thing's a flop, don't give up on it. It just was maybe bad timing or whatever. And if it's online as a product, it can stay there and you could add it as a bonus to something else you sell. So if it's for sale for $17 and you can make it 0 amount as a bonus to one of your courses, and they put a certain coupon code or something in the cart, then you know, then it seems like it's more value than just a bunch of bonuses at the bottom of the page, if that makes sense. So next thing is, so I hope that gave you some ideas of different different ideas. Now we're going to talk about what's the best info product, excuse me, product format for you to use that's going to make it easy for you to do. So everyone knows that there's multiple learning styles. So what we're talking about is you can have written, ebook checklists or guides, audios, videos, and videos. When you make a video, you can strip out the audio part and use it and edit it. So videos are great. Live classes, again, this is one of those things where you might be fake it till you make it. You could earn while you learn. But those and webinars like this right now, this could be and eventually I will make a product and have more information with this. Transcripts of audios and videos. There are several online companies that are AI generated that are very inexpensive, that you can take every audio you do, or if you like, Malcolm's driving his son to college at 10 o'clock in the morning. He doesn't have time to write anything, but he could put it on his phone, download it off his phone, put it on one of these sites, and have his blog post that day, that fast. And it's like 10 cents a minute or something. It's ridiculously cheap. Mind maps I could explain better by showing you, but mind maps there are free and paid mind map software programs, and what they do is they help you put processes into place where you start with your overall goal and then spread it. And a lot of, at least in my business, a lot of products are made with mind maps. and it shows process flow. So mind maps are great if you're selling a product that first you do this, then you do this, then you do this, and you want it in sequence. Mind maps are ingenious and they're visual. So it's not like you telling someone, you know, write your journal entry, it's a block. It's like a Lego block. And then again, here's combination. So if you want to do a video, let's say you do a video and then you want to add a checklist with it or a guide with it. So for instance, let's say I'm going to do a video on where to find free graphics like these. And all of these graphics I have in this PowerPoint are free from free sites. So let's say you want to find sites like that. I could do a video and then add one of these guides or checklists for all the resources for you. And there's like 20 of them. You wouldn't know about them. You wouldn't even know which ones were good. I mean, you could Google it, but you would spend way too much time and energy going through them, whereas I already know. So that's where, and all of you know that. All of you have resources like that at your fingertips. So the other thing you need to ask yourself when you're creating this product, so you've already done the research, then you figured out which format you prefer, which is the easiest for you to do. And I know Elsie knows how to use Audacity now. So I know that, I mean, some of these things are a little scary at first, but once you get to do them, it's like you can crank out a whole course in a day. I've done it over and over and over again. 24 hours from start to finish, getting it ready, and they're good. They're not junk. It's not, you know, because it's sharing what I already know that I take for granted that other people may know, but you haven't taken as many classes as I have in the subject matter. So I'm kind of collating it for you. So when you want to ask yourself what equipment you have, what does my tribe want to learn? Am I scared of technology, or am I willing to not be scared of technology? Can I get help? And how can I add more value? So this is, you know, this is the kind of thing you think outside the box a little bit. You've done the research, you see what maybe other people have on Amazon. Well, not everyone wants to read a book. A lot of people want, give me the Cliff Notes, right? So that, and especially Elsie, your stuff with creativity, give me the Cliff Notes. Malcolm, with your stuff with leadership and changing your thinking, Malcolm, yours is perfect for this, right? Right? So, okay, so then the idea is testing is by doing that taster small product first, or doing blog posts. You just want to test, put your foot in the water before you put too much. And again, try something and see how people respond. You can do a freebie or a low cost item. And again, we want to work smarter, not harder. So in most cases, you guys probably already have content. I know Elsie does, I know Malcolm has, I know Eileen has, I know Trina has, I assume Lisa does. I know you guys have it. So when you have content already, you can reuse it, repurpose it. And when you reuse it, it's just about, do I want it in audio? I mean, audiobooks are selling really well right now because people don't have time. Their eyes are tired after being on the computer all day. A lot of people are audio learners, right? So there's all these different kinds of learners. So you know, reusing your content. So like in Elsie's case, Elsie has a book on creativity that's fantastic. So she could take 2 paragraphs out of her book and repurpose them on her blog. See if there's a lot of interest in it. And once she checks if there's interest in it, then she knows go deeper. Okay? And that I want to encourage all of you to start thinking that way, because you have so much knowledge. I mean, Trina, think of all those PowerPoints you've made. That, oh my God, that it's about conscious living and conscious lifestyle. I mean, you could reuse all of it. And in a day, you could probably have a product. Okay? So, and then see what's working for your peers. Now, I'm never an advocate for you to steal or copy or be a Me Too type person. But if your client, if your following, if your tribe is also following someone else in your marketplace, you'll see how they're communicating with them. Whether they're using video, if they're using Facebook Live, if they're on YouTube all the time, if they're on their blog, if their blog's blowing up. So I watch Gary Vaynerchuk. I don't know if any of you know who he is, but he's like an icon in internet marketing. And 2 years ago, I got to go to a event in LA, and he was the keynote. And this guy, he's just bigger than life. So his family owned a wine importing company in New York City. He's from New York. He's not much taller than I am. And he owns one of the biggest media companies in the world. And as a keynote, he gave away a free pair of leather tennis shoes to everyone in the audience. And he could afford to do it. His content is almost all video. And he said, don't even think about it, just do it. And be yourself, be there, be sharing who you are. So I watch him and go, okay, well, I guess I can be myself. I'm having a bad hair day. Oh, well, I'll just do it, right? So then how do you know that your audience will purchase your info product? So that's the other side. You don't want to go to all the trouble of creating something and it misses the mark, because again, then it ends up being an added bonus to something else that does work, or you have to redo it. So how you know is that you have to, here again, don't put weeks of work into something you haven't tested. Don't assume or overestimate how much your audience wants and will spend on an info product. Do the research and see if there's competitors in your marketplace, what they're charging, what they're doing. Again, you're not copying it, you're just seeing what the consumer in your marketplace is used to buying. So for instance, if Deepak Chopra he's got lots of books, but he's got courses. Let's say it's a new course and on leadership. And Elsie wants to do a leadership one, and Malcolm wants to do a leadership one, and Eileen wants to do one, and Trina wants to do one. And each one of you are going to look at his and get something different because of your perspective. So Trina might be saying leaders need to have a healthy state of mind. They need to look at life in a healthy way. Eileen might say leaders need organization and need to have a master plan of how they're going to get it all done, because she's so organized. Both is Trina is too. Sorry. Okay, roll your eyes. Malcolm's going to say that leaders need to know how to clear their blocks, and I know how to show them where their blocks are and where they're showing up, where their anger is showing up that needs to be released. And Elsie's going to say, I know how to make them more creative and inspired because they're too stressed to be inspired and creative, right? So that's what you have to look at, is each one of you is going to look at the subject matter from your perspective, and it'll be so helpful. And maybe no one else can do that. again, testing it out, create some blog posts, create a free or low-cost product, create a beta version of your course to capture testimonials. So Eileen and Trina were in my beta course for Mindful Marketing Magnetism. And so I launched the course. It's a course that I've been teaching, or I was doing one-on-one. I was, by the time they did it, I'd been doing it for 18 years, one-on-one. But it was the first time I had done it in a course where I had to reduce the substance of it a little bit, but still keep the same outcome. So, so I charged half. Actually, now it's even less than half. But I charged a half amount for the first beta class in order to capture testimonials. So that's a way for you to think about it is, well, how am I going to do this? How do I get testimonials? Because almost every high price product has a list of testimonials, and that's how you do it. And I'd be glad to talk to you some more about that. Again, you can pre-sell it, learn what you earn if you're brave. So how you do pre-sell a course is you create a sales page. And so a lot of people do this. And again, I've never done it, and I've never worked with anyone who's done it. So I'm telling you what I know, but I don't have personal experience. And seriously, I've been making info products for almost 30 years. God, I'm old. Anyway, so so you create your sales page, you let people know it's a pre-order, and let them know when it'll be available. Now that's the other part is, you know, you're creating trust with your customer. So for instance, I pre-ordered something and the gal sent me an email this morning and said, I'm not done. And, you know, I still appreciate her, but I don't think that's very good. I wouldn't recommend doing that. So, or another way you can do it is you can create it in weekly modules. They call that dripping it. So so let's say it's an 8-week course and you don't want people to skip ahead. They really need to marinate in the information for a week before they go to the next. You don't want them speeding through it and say, oh yeah, I got it, because they won't have grounded the information. That's when you drip it in weekly modules. Now we're saying it here live, but it can be live or pre-recorded. I should have put pre-recorded too. Okay, and then the other thing is, this is very similar to what I experienced in the clothing industry when I owned a clothing store, is the manufacturers would tell you that they had a stack of swatches and you could pick the fabric, and they said they would deliver it. You ordered the units and they would deliver it. Well, on the other side, you don't know if they got enough orders to buy the fabric. So what some people do with these courses is if they don't get enough orders, they don't roll it out. Now, that's not a problem if you are going to reschedule, but I certainly wouldn't take anybody's money and do that. It's almost like taking people's money for a trip and then rescheduling. We know what we're talking about there. Okay, trust your gut. Okay, you know you have a personal relationship with this audience that you're serving. And as that, you have a responsibility with them to really make sure that it feels right. So what feels right for Trina teaching at the carpet cleaning and restoration event versus teaching in Denver at Journeys for Conscious Living, you know, the audience is going to receive it. Each audience is different. They're going to receive, you can use different language, everything. So, but sometimes if you, for instance, let's say I love plants and I decide I do know a little bit about plants, but there's so much, no, I'm not a horticulturist. So what I would have to do if I don't know my audience real well, then I really need to create what I've mentioned several times in these classes is an avatar to figure out what challenges my audience has. Because again, you're in service to them. So you're trying to create a solution to one of their problems. So for me, as a plant lover, for what I might say is how to winterize your plants in a dry climate, your indoor plants in a dry climate or outside. And there's enough people in dry climates in the English speaking nations to probably sell something. Okay, so that's just an example for you. So again, what we're going to do real quick, and I hope is this pace okay, Trina? It's okay. Okay. What I'm going to do is go over in depth a little bit more about ebooks, audios, videos, and live classes, so that you can get a little better handle on what your choices are and how you can do a better job at making these info products. So how to make ebooks, really, they're one of the easiest things to do. You can make them in Word on your subject matter, or you can outsource. There's outsourcing sites. You can get a VA, virtual assistants to help you. You can get other writers to help you. There's Upwork is one of the outsourcing sites, Upwork. There's a low-cost barrier to writing an ebook. Again, and I recommend that you have something like this as your free download for getting for email signups on your website anyway. And they can help you create passive income. So the tools you'll need to do this is word processing and images. So as I said, all of these images are I got for free off of sites. So that's where you can see how much better if this was a class that I was taking, I was teaching and they were in modules. I would only have most of the time I have five to six slides, because you don't want long sections. You can have 20-minute sections, but people's attention spans are so short now. You want short, but yeah, I would do 5-6 slides probably. Okay. Great cover art if it's an ebook. Excuse me. So you just open up your word processing software and start typing. And again, if you've looked up everything on Amazon and on the internet and in forums and on Pinterest and on blog posts, you already have great ideas of what people are interested in. Just like my example of what email service provider do you use to send out your email blasts. Oh my God, I think they got like 500 or more comments on that in a Facebook group. And I'd never heard of half of them. So it's amazing. Okay, so when you're done, you save it as a document for use. You can save it as a Word document because you want to save the original, and as a PDF. And for instance, I'm using a PDF right now to do this program. So when I do it, so if you're doing a Zoom recording, I highly recommend that you not put all of the bells and whistles where everything's moving across your, you don't have to have each text line coming in, flying across the screen. You're better off doing this where you just have a static, because the other, number one, it takes up the whole screen, so you lose all your navigation. And number two, it's confusing actually. This is easier. I can just tell you from experience. Okay, So then extras, again, using images, and Upsplash is one of the places I get stuff. Pexels, Pexels, that I get videos and images there. I can give you more places if you want. Pixabay is another one. And most of these sites, what you find is they've got the free images, and then lower on the screen, they have the paid ones. So they give you the batch, and then if they can't find what you want, you know, here, buy this. You can use Canva, which is an online free software, Canva. That's how Noelle and Bob do a lot of the CCC stuff on Facebook else, is in Canva. I also just started using Snappa, Snappa, which is another site like Canva. And then you can always get help with the artwork with support from either Upwork or other online sites. So again, a few more tips here. Reuse your content, and I'm saying the same things over and over again, but you'll see that this is for ebooks. There is software that allows you to put a plugin. I'd have to find it, but it's so cool. You can put a plugin in your WordPress site, and the customer can read, so you can have a long blog post that could be, you know, if you had to copy it and paste it into Word, it would be difficult. There's a plugin that you can just click a button and turn it into a PDF, and where you put your email address in, and it sends it to you. So it's another way for you to capture great email posts, and you could do that with yours too, and then collate those PDFs. Some people write books off of their blogs by doing, there's other software like that. You do it by your category in your blog, and that could be a chapter or part 1, part 2 of your book. Part 1 could be one subject, could be one of the categories on your blog, and you can take all that content. It's in Word, it's in a version of Word anyway. Okay. So you can have your videos or your audios transcribed. If you have a thick accent, it doesn't work that well, but it works. You have to pay more. That's what I found, is I was working with someone who had a very thick Southern accent, and they did a horrible job on the AI sites of transcribing it. So I had to pay more and get a real person, like a medical recorder kind of person. Then use ready-to-use content. There's content online that you can buy. It's public. It's either in public domain or ready-to-use. They call it PLR content. And I could give you some of that information if you wanted. And then you make it your own. But it's like someone giving you an outline and you flesh it out. So if you don't want to start from scratch. Public domain, I wanted to bring this up. Public domain is a way to get your hands on content that was written in 1925-ish, and they just changed it. They just changed the law now that every year more information will be going into public domain. Now, the reason why people love public domain information is that it's written so well. If you get writings that were books or papers or theses that were written in the 1940s or 50s, they're written better than our stuff now, which is more slang. So if you're doing psychology, metaphysics, a lot of things, you can get great information. And they just changed the law on public domain. I don't have the data to tell you what that is, but I do, if you are interested, I do have ways to research public domain. And there's sketching and illustrations. There's all sorts of information. And it's a lot of science and access to data that it's not your Encyclopedia Britannica. It's probably better in a lot of ways, and you don't have to worry about getting in trouble because it's in public domain. And then of course you can always outsource the writing, editing, and photos, but right now we're probably not looking at that too much, but you could always do that. So the way to create audios is, well, first of all, I want to talk about the benefits. It can be quicker than writing an ebook. A lot of us are really good at speaking, and it's so easy to talk your book. Now, there's Dragon Naturally Speaking. There are software programs that will convert your talking. But again, if you talk into a software program, get the recording, upload it to one of these AI transcription sites with editing and fixing whatever words they couldn't understand, you can have the audio version and the written version right away. Isn't that cool? That's what I'm saying, you can have it in a day. You could have a product done. Okay. And again, you can also be interviewed or interviewing others. Now, there's a format of, some people do books that way, which personally, I don't like that style of reading. I don't like trying to figure out who's talking and that, but that is a popular way for people to get another product out. So, so for instance, for like what Amy's doing for her podcast, she's interviewing all these people. She could use some of those interviews to create a product, right? And it's fairly inexpensive to create. There's a there's a free software program called Audacity, AUD. It looks like this on my screen. If you can see, it's got this little headset. Yep. Right here. And I was able to teach Elsie how to use it. It's pretty easy and it's free. It works on Mac and PC. Okay. And I can show you how to use it if you want. Okay, the tools you'll need are computer, microphone, USB over the head to an upright studio type mic. I highly recommend, for very little money, getting a USB type mic or a headset. This is a blue. I got this at Guitar Center, but now they sell them on Amazon and even at Target. They sell them, and this is it's so much fun. It really works great. Now, of course, right now I'm recording, and this is a Logitech webcam that has a microphone in it. But I have to say, this isn't as clear as a headset would be, or as this USB. And when you do, I don't recommend using the headsets that are like your phone, this type connector into your speakers. It's nowhere near the quality. And honestly, for less than $100. Now, a lot of people have them on a boom and all that. I don't know. You do? You got yours? Okay, DJ. Well, I don't have that, and I've been making a bunch of them, so I don't know. But just so you know, I mean, just don't use your phone type one, and it can be improved if you have a headset or using a USB. There's Audacity again. That's how you spell it. This is what the icon looks like. It's free as anything, and it's great. And then the other thing is, if you're doing audios, when this video is rendered, I will get an audio file for it. It automatically renders on Zoom. So in Zoom, if you don't have a paid account, you can go on for free and record up to 45 minutes. Now, they may have changed that, but you might be able to record longer, but I was knocked off, so that's, I tried it, but you don't want to be in the middle of something and be knocked off. So if you do these short programs that are, for instance, something like this, it's, 4 or 5 slides worth of information and then break, that's about all people want. You got to give it to them in little bits. Okay. So, okay, I'll probably say this about 100 times, just like I've said some of the other things 100 times. Create a script. I don't expect you to read it, but I expect you to use it as a way to keep your place of where you are. Because it never fails, you get a text in the middle of it, somebody, just interruptions are rampant in the way that we live anymore. So if you create a script, even if you post it on a post-it note on the side of your monitor as you're going, to make sure that you keep on track, you need something to keep you on track. Then you're going to plug in your mic, open up in your audio program. You're going to do your interview, or you're going to just start talking on your subject matter. When you're done, you save a copy. Now in Audacity, you save it as an Audacity file, but to make it an MP3, you have to export it. Now I know, Malcolm, you're on GarageBand, you're on a Mac, so you're probably on GarageBand, right? So I don't know, I don't remember how that works, but you know how to do recordings anyway. And you're going to be pickier about recordings than most people need to be, but don't, it doesn't have to be perfect. Oh, I know, but there isn't a grade for any of this. That's what, okay, there's no competition, there's no grade, nobody knows what you know, and everybody needs it. Okay? Okay, don't mean to be a mother hen to you. Okay, few more tips. Reuse your blog posts again. Ebooks is the basis of that script. Outsource the script writing, audio editing, or whichever parts you don't like. So if you do your audio and you go, I want to go make more of these, I don't want to do the editing, you can hand it over to somebody who thinks that's so much fun. And if they think it's fun, they're going to be fast too. So it'd be less expensive. So, you use your time to do something you really like. So again, have your audios transcribed and give the written version to your customers as a bonus. So this whole transcription, it's just because, I don't know about you, but I hear it and I want to see it. It's sort of like it anchors it in my mind by having both. Okay, we're doing pretty good. I'm going to say it's like answer. We have time for questions. Okay, the benefits of creating videos. Yes, you have to create videos. There is no around creating videos anymore. There is no excuse for you to not, with Facebook Live, YouTube Live, your camera, your smartphone having a camera on it, there is no excuse for you to not make a video. You can have one almost, well, 3 times a week. There's no excuse to not do it, except that you're chicken or you're a perfectionist. Forget it. People like you better if you make a little bit of a mistake and you're more normal than if you're a newscaster. They don't want an actor and actress. They want you. They want to trust you, and the other's not trustworthy. So yeah, I can't say videos you can make with PowerPoints, like this PowerPoint that I'm presenting right here, can be made into a video. It's not just on Zoom, it can be made in video because in PowerPoint now. But the idea is it's edutainment. That's the best way to explain it. It's education with entertainment. Edutainment, you need to think of it. And if you don't want to show your face on the screen, There's plenty of ways to do text information, or there's a lot of people doing these fun little avatar images of themselves. They do it on their phone, and they do it on social media and on their websites. And so it's almost like there's a virtual reality kind of avatar person you can be. So don't worry about if you're not comfortable with the way you look right now, or your hair or whatever. You can still use your voice, which the energy and the frequency of your voice is going to translate and connect. Tools you need, again, for videos: computer, microphone, webcam, screen share software, or the Zoom. Screen share software, my favorite is Camtasia. I've been using it for 23 years, I think, maybe longer. Of course, that's not the same version, but that's what the Fortune 100 companies were using to do their online learning programs. So do you want to look at Camtasia if you can afford to buy it. And then there's other free ones that are online that you can look at, or I could get the information. And then the other optional thing is, once you capture all of this, you may want to edit it. So you might need help editing it, or in Camtasia, it is a video editor. So I edit it, right? I capture it in it and I edit it in it. So again, how do you do it? If you're going to do a video, create a script. Oh no, we got 13 comments. Oh. You don't have to read it word for word, but it'll help you stay on track. That's all we want. So, and again, you're going to use Zoom or screen recording software. You're going to save a copy at the end and edit it. Just a few more tips, again, is about using your content you already have, outsource if you need to, and save your videos to an audio-only format if you want, and have your videos transcribed and give the written version. So when you have a video, you have maybe 4 different products from one video. So you have the video itself, you have pieces of the video, which are little, could be like what do you call those? I'll think of it in a second. You've got audio and you've got the transcripts. So trailers. So you know how Debbie Allen had her reel, you can take little pieces and make a collage kind of program. Okay, how to create live classes. So live classes like this, you can record and sell as product, and depends on if you want interaction or not. So there's been times where Trina and I were here and not very many people showed up, and I wasn't sure if I wanted a live audience or not. So you'll have to see, if you're thinking you won't have a big audience, you may want to just record it on your own. But if you feel like you'll get more answers, because you can show it and then have a Q&A live afterwards with your people, and not have it break up what you're offering. Again, the live classes, there's a trend right now doing webinars to pre-sell a high price item, and people call it an evergreen funnel. So it would be an hour and a half long program like this, and at the very end is a pitch to buy a $2,000 item. And that's another way to do it. But if you really want to do classes that are passive income, you'll have to see how you want to use this live classes, but it's very similar to how you would do the pre-recorded. So again, you can, if you are live, again, I'm able to do here is I'm able, because I know the audience and I know what their expertise is, I can bring them in and bring more information that's more value added just for you, versus if I don't know the audience, I have to stay pretty general. I can feel it out, but I can't really address the subject matter in the same way. So again, tools are almost the same as what we said before. You can use Facebook Live, but I wouldn't do that. And the reason is Facebook Live and YouTube Live, the quality is not good. Now, the same thing can be said with the free teleconference.com sites. If you're doing an audio class, the quality of the recordings is very choppy. And again, Facebook Live, same thing. I was on Facebook Live today with someone. At the end of the interview, she couldn't hear me or see me. Everyone could hear both of us. I could see her. But so you don't want to take a chance that the technology is not going to work. You want to be present. You don't need to be nervous. Plus, you don't want to have to do it twice, right? Again, create a script, plug in your mic, save a copy when you're done, and you can edit it, and then you can close the replay. So, okay, this is very similar to what we've said over and over again, so I think you probably got it by now, but you can reuse your content, you can use ready-to-use content, you can outsource, and you can save your videos in multiple formats so that all different type of learners will be able to use it. So why don't we do this, Trina, before I get to that, why don't we go through the questions, and I'll see. I did pretty good time for that.
There weren't a lot of questions on there. Some of them were just comments that I've been putting up while you've been talking about.
Oh, okay.
Just a little bit of chat. Elsie had a little comment about loving mind maps, and that she's more of a global thinker, and she likes these rather than most, than list most of the time, because of the way that mind maps are used. So that was pretty cool. I put up some things about Pexel, Pixabay, and Camtasia. I know Camtasia has a 30-day free sort of thing. You can play with it if you want to play with it. And I had a couple comments that I just made some notes on as well.
Okay.
So one of them was, if you want to do something live, like an interview with somebody, have a pre-call and talk a little bit through what you want to talk about, and then do your script so that you're both on the same page. I was just on a radio show yesterday, and that's what we did. We spent about an hour the day before, talked through things so that we were really clear, made up our script, and then it was so easy to go through. They knew how they wanted to lead me. I knew what I wanted to say, and so it goes so much smoother. So make sure you do a little pre-call. Again, with Zoom, what you were talking about, it'll automatically download if you record. You get an MP3 and you get the video. It automatically splits it for you, so you don't even have to worry about doing that on Zoom, which is really cool. Yeah. And then if you're going to do some video, make sure that your lighting's good, and make sure that your background is really nice, that you don't have a bunch of junk in the background and all that, that it's a really nice and pleasant view, and that you don't have people walking around behind you or other things while you're recording. So make a really nice space, one that you won't be disturbed in, and and make sure your lighting's great. And I know there's some really neat little lighting products that are out there too that just clip on, um, give you a really nice look. We have Vanna there showing, Eileen's showing her light. Um,
I have one of the round ones. Right.
yeah, there's some really great products out there to help you so that people can actually see you, they can hear you, and it's really pleasant. So, and you may even want to practice a little bit. Um, yeah, then Olivia put up, you can record audio on PowerPoint as well.
Yeah.
So that's another option if you do have a PowerPoint and you want to do that. Play with PowerPoint because it is in there.
Well, PowerPoint has changed so much. It's doing what a Camtasia does in some ways, although Camtasia is still more state of the art, what you can do with it. But a lot of people are using PowerPoint to do their flyers and a lot of their graphics now because there's so much available. I mean, it's amazing. I just bought a PowerPoint package a couple of days ago that is beautiful.
I use PowerPoint a lot, and it actually has a design feature to it. It's really nice. It'll give you options. It's a great thing to look at. And I still go back to the publisher. You know, it's like if you're working with Microsoft, I still go back to publisher and use publisher because there's so many options in that. And then I can make a PDF and drop it into a PowerPoint and make it into something else too. So there's a lot of ways to play. A question I had though, Kathy, and I've heard things, but I don't know if it's true. If pictures are posted up on Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
are they free then? Does Facebook own them? Do you know?
Well, there's different privacy settings you can have on Facebook so that like your personal photos, you can make sure that they aren't being able to be reused. But I wouldn't take a chance of using someone's art piece from Facebook. Plus the quality, usually the Facebook images are not the highest resolution, whereas if you go to these other free art sites, I mean, there's so many sites you can go to and get things that that aren't going to take, you're not going to take a chance. It's terrible, the stuff that I've heard people had their website shut down. I've heard people, their books had to be taken off the shelves because they used somebody's image on the front of their book. So it just doesn't take it, it's just not even worth it to take the chance.
And it's kind of the same if you're shopping around online and just looking at websites and stuff. It's like you don't want to just grab somebody's picture. And there's a lot of places where you can ask permission to use a video or a graphic that somebody's developed if you want to use it in your presentation. If it's something that you think is really cool, you can contact them. A lot of times they'll just tell you, you know, give us a little bit of credit or advertise our website or something like that. A lot of people are willing to share really great graphics, especially if you find a chart or a little infographic, which a lot of people are putting up infographics right now. But make sure if you're looking, because so many of them will pop up. If you just go in and Google something, so many pop up. But make sure you get permission to use them and give credit to who you got them from.
Right, right. So, and so what I thought is if anybody's fired up and excited about doing this, I'm going to offer, if you want, I'm happy. I've made so many of these, probably in an hour, I could direct you to everything you need and get you started so that you could do it yourself. So my normal price per hour is a lot more than this, but I'm offering $97 for an hour to help you. If you're all fired up and I can help you, I love making info products, so I'd be happy to do that. And if you're interested, you can just contact me at my email for that. and it would be a fun project, I'm sure. And then here's both of our contacts, so that if you would like support in either way with Trina's work or my work or both of us, this is how you can reach both of us, from the emails to our phone numbers. And I would just appreciate the opportunity. I only have 4 more minutes. I was worried I had a lot of slides, you guys.
You blew through those.
Is that okay? I hope people understood. I hope I didn't go too fast, but
I'm wondering if anybody has any questions that they want to unmute, ask questions, if they have any comments, something that they might want a little bit more explanation on. We have a couple more minutes.
Yeah, this is Elsie. I would just thank you both for this. For me, Kathy she's been sort of kicking me
I've been
politely.
torturing her.
She's moving me forward with some of this, especially the audio and some of the other. So what it did was sort of give me a composite of a knowledge base of what I can do, and I'll be working with you, Kathy, I know, to get more stuff up. But it was all very, very helpful information. Thank you.
Oh, good. Yeah. Thank you. Fun.
Yeah, I would just like to add that it was very clear and succinct and straightforward. So very valuable. Thank you.
Well, and I've been telling you all along, Malcolm, this is how easy, and you really need to get your stuff out.
Yes,
okay. Well, I'm going to kick Ollie. Actually, Eileen, I'm going to kick Ollie.
I know.
And I could say that to Trina too. Oops. I'm not making.
I do a lot of presentations, not always info products though, but I do.
I know, but we need you to.
Yeah, it's but you cannot. I mean, you saw that she put up there. Do a script.
Mm-hmm.
A script. If you can't follow, you don't have to write it out. Do just an outline so it free flows from you, and that it sounds really authentic and it sounds real. And it's okay if you bumble over a word or something, laugh at yourself. It's okay. Just, just make sure that all the points you want to cover are there. And even when we go through and we do these presentations and we create the little PowerPoints, I always print out a copy of my PowerPoint with there's a format in the PowerPoint that you can do like 3 slides on a page, and then there's a place to put notes. And I go through and I make notes of the things that I want to touch on. So if there's a key point, if there's a story I want to tell, something that's in there that I don't want to forget about, I'll put those notes on that page. And I'll use that in my background in my presentation. So it's the way that you want to do it, and the easiest way for you to remember. But use your cheat sheets, use your notes, use your scripts. It's much easier than kind of either reading off of a paper, which never looks real, I don't think, when people read. And I know Larry's on here. I know he's had plenty of people who have gotten up in some of the events that we put on, and they'll just read word for word off of their presentation off of a piece of paper. And it's so much easier to be authentic about it and just go off of bullet points or something like that.
Well, I'm hoping that you saw how easy it is, and that you'll be adventurous, because you can't really get it wrong, and practice makes perfect. So, if you'll be courageous and just try it, you'll see it's so wonderful to share all this stuff. People need to know what you know.
I just want to add, the first time I did the Audacity audio for something, for the Co-Creative Awakening Summit. I can't tell you how frustrating that was just to figure out how to get it out to Kathy. Doing the audio, I did what you suggested, Trina, I used the PowerPoints that we had created as the note sheets, because I speak more comfortably when I can just talk rather than reading anything. But but when it came to export the audio, I thought I was going to scream. But I mean, really. But once I learned how to do that and how to transfer it from my Dropbox to Kathy's Dropbox to get it on, then it's just part of the game, is learning how to do it the first time. And it's frustrating until you learn how, and then once you've done it, it's not that I wouldn't do it, that I wouldn't make mistakes a second time, but at least I won't be quite so afraid of it.
Right, right. Well, so what Elsie's talking about is that she created the audio, and then I created the Camtasia of the slides and put her audio with it. So I created the product for her.
Mm-hmm.
So there's lots of ways you can work with other people if you compartmentalize. But we're all busy, but you can put aside an hour a week, 2 hours a week, and create a whole library of products. Fast.
Hey, Kathy, this is Olivia. Can I share something that I just tried that I think is really good for getting leads, which is called, it's called the 5-Day Challenge. And the woman I learned it from experimented with all different lengths, and she figured out that 5 days was best, and doing it Monday through Friday is the best time to do it. And the reason it works well is because people get actually a little experience of maybe a benefit out of it by giving them a little thing to do each day. And then after it's all done, you can, sell it as a product or keep it as a lead generator ongoing. So I did one on self-love, and I had it end on Valentine's Day. So it's Monday through Friday last week. I had to sleep 2 days from the adrenal, and I had to put out because I did a video every day. I mean, it took so much. And I did the video, I downloaded it, I edited it, and I put it on, created a landing page. I'm using Kajabi. And, but I had almost 60 people sign up. So it's a great way to generate leads if you want to just give people a little taste, and then get testimonials, and also give them an experience. I had 3 people write and say that they had really insightful ideas come about what was keeping them from loving themselves, or traumas that they hadn't thought of.
Wow.
So yeah, I just wanted to mention that. It's
Great.
great.
And this does lead to a course that Olivia and I worked on that's on
Yes.
love.
Yeah. So Kathy's great
Yeah,
at creating courses. And
so, but you have to understand it's more about practice makes perfect, because this is Olivia's first class, but she'll have a lot of them. When she saw it, right, Olivia, how easy it is?
Yes. And doing the videos, I was so afraid and resistant, and now I'm still not excited to do them, but I have a lot less resistance, and I want to get to the point where I just get up every day and go, I can't wait to make a video, and they were very short, so I didn't have to really create a script because it was things I had taught before. It was just like a minute or two.
So perfect. Thank you.
Olivia, did you do that with Alina Vincent?
Yes, actually, I caught one of her webinars or whatever, and that's how I learned it. Yep.
I just did one with her last week on authority accelerating, and I really got a lot out of it. And I'm going to do some 5 days. I started a Facebook group because of it. So
yeah, me too.
Cool.
Yeah, and I also do a lot with ebooks, grabbing leads on LinkedIn, and I just do them in PowerPoint with like a big photograph either at the top or the bottom, and some, text boxes, and then save it in PDF. I think maybe you mentioned that, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, you can see once you get excited about sharing your information and you see that you've got a tribe, you're ready to get out there, there's all these different ways to use your content and all these different platforms, and it's really a great time to do it. It's a great time.
I was going to add too, working with my daughter-in-law a little bit, and she started her own podcast. Gosh, it's been probably 4 months ago now, and she's getting quite a following. But the her generation, which is 30, 40s, like she said, she has something streaming in the background all the time. There's always a podcast. There's always an audio something that she's listening to. And she listens in the car. She listens when she's working. And these are because she has 4 kids that she deals with as well as working and things too. This is her way of connecting and hearing things, but it needs to be on her time and her schedule and the way it works for her. And a lot of the people that are in that generation are using that modality to, especially the audios, to, learn more things or connect or get more information. It's been interesting working with her because it's a different perspective than the world that, I grew up in, which was a lot more, it was TV, video, some video stuff, but
Well, if you think about it, Career Track made their whole Career Track, Sounds True, Nightingale Conant, they all were audio. So, I mean, that whole how to teach yourself how to programs, they were all audio. So we were doing that too. But, podcasts are a phenomenon. They're just a phenomenon. So they are.
My son works for Skillshare. He's a remote worker for Skillshare in New York, and he works remotely from Michigan. And he mentioned to me at one point when we were talking about my work, he said, "Mom, some people will like the book, and some people will prefer to listen to the podcast or whatever on their phone while they're fixing dinner. And other people will like having something in front of them where they can fill in blanks, or like the mind maps, they can fill in those sections of the map." And it struck me that, all those years ago when we learned about, visual and auditory and kinesthetic learners, that they're still working from that perspective. And he's absolutely right, I think.
Yeah. You don't have to put all your attention into cooking. You can do it.
Yeah. And I know Barry's been on listening, and Barry's been a trainer in his industry for many, 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 many years. And in the training that he does, which a lot of it was in workshops and things, but doing little videos of some of the trainings and making them available as a product for other companies to be able to even show in a staff meeting or a training session there. 10-minute long, something that a boss could pop in for his technicians or something to watch a little piece. Those kinds of things are really beneficial. Doesn't take a whole lot of time, and even encouraging different businesses to spend that community time with their employees and teach them a skill where they can put something in very quickly, let somebody learn, maybe have some check-off sheets, a little quiz at the end that says, are you prepared? Do you have everything that you need? Whatever it is that could be made available for them. I know he's transitioning into a place where he wants to do more stuff that is available online and things too. So, and I know Kathy knows Barry. She's met Barry before.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when I first started making online learning products, it was before I ran a division of Arthur Andersen. I worked at a company that was bought out. It was started by, I can't remember the name of it right now. It was started by Sheila Paxton and a couple of people that had left Career Track. Sheila Paxton had been the vice president of Career Track. And they made online learning products, and they were $60,000 to $80,000 a course to make. And so that's yeah, but that's what it cost back then. And the studio and the whole thing. Now we've got all this equipment that we've got our phones or our iPads can do it. It's more about the inspiration and the excitement about sharing what you know and figuring out what fits your personality, what doesn't feel forced and fake, and what feels comfortable and easy to go, because you want people to know, like, and trust you. But I mean, when I think of the journey, all of this, and when we did an ebook training program for Chipotle that I did when I was at Arthur Andersen, and I think it was a $300,000 project. So I mean, price, everything's available. Just the inspiration is what is the only thing. Seeing what your customer would be delighted with, and you having the guts to go do it. That's all it is. That's all it is. Exciting, huh?
Thank you.
Yep. Yeah.
Any other questions or comments or anything?
I'm going to be leaving, but thank you both.
Yeah.
Appreciate all of you
Here. Thank you.
for joining us.
I'll see you on Thursday.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, Olivia. Thank you, dear.
My pleasure.
Bye-bye. Good to see you
Bye.
all.
Bye.